Scorpio and Ophiuchus, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for the week of the 7th through the 13th of November 2016. I'm Athen, and this channel is about using the actual constellations in the sky known as Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the link down below because the signs are different, which means your sign might be different, and you'll want to watch this for the right sign. All right, so Scorpio and Ophiuchus, this week we have a lot of things shifting. 3 planets, Venus, your ruler Mars, and later in the week, Mercury. So what this means is a sort of shifting week. I think our values are shifting with Venus, and you're all in all, I think, shifting in terms of where you're putting your energy and what you're focused on. This is Mars going into your 3rd house. So I think it's a great next month, roughly, for you to learn. You know, the 3rd house is all about the practical side to things. So maybe it's picking up a book. Usually it's not so much like literature, but more of like self-help or like practical type of stuff on that sense. Or maybe you're teaching, maybe you're taking a course, anything that really involves the intellectual side to things. So a really good time for that, really good time for journaling. Communication, you know, focusing on that, putting some energy into that as well. And maybe connecting with your siblings or peers or your community, you might say. And fundamentally, I think just being open-minded to learning, maybe doing a bit of exchanging, you know, again, exchanging ideas and trading for some of you as well, you know, which is the marketplace, the 3rd house. So big emphasis there. Venus going into your 2nd house is emphasizing the value sector. So this might have to do with your finances for some of you, might have to do with your assets or anything that is about the material values, but all in all what you value. And I think most fundamentally your sense of self-worth, enjoying that a bit, attracting the things in your life that you value, that you want to attract. And so there's been a lot of changes with this over the past many years with Pluto here, helping you strip away fears with that and have a non-attached perspective when it comes to finances and your values, and willing to live a minimal sort of perspective there. Not that you are going to have minimalism in the 2nd as much as it's required for you to detach from it, which will allow it to flow. But anyways, Venus coming in here can lighten it up, can help you attract some of these values and enjoy some things, and really help you be grateful in fact for what you do have in your life. And as a result, you're focusing on what you do have, and that can be a very positive force there. All right, and that could also have to do with relationships shifting into an area that is more about enjoying the simple life with them, and again, relationship values particularly. And I do want to mention Mars does also rule your 6th, so maybe when it comes to your work, maybe you'll be getting more practical there, or communicating there, and again, getting into the intellectual side of things. All right, so let's go and look at this in terms of the overall backdrop to the week. We do have the Sun in your 12th house. This is the location, well, one of the locations of the last new moon. And it's really a culminating week in the sense that at week's end, we are going to have a full moon on Monday. And so as the week unfolds, there is more of this awareness, more of this momentum, and again, cultivation. And I think what's cultivating is, on one hand, your aspirations, which was the new moon in Virgo. Jupiter's in your 11th house. This is about future things, your personal aspirations, but maybe also aspirations for your community or networking or connecting with friends and groups. It's such a good time for that. And so things could be moving forward with that. And on another note, it's a very behind the scenes time for you. You've got the Sun in the 12th house. You're supposed to be sort of getting that meditative time, working behind the scenes, reflecting on things a bit. That's where you're gaining energy, gaining prana, gaining that life force, which is the Sun. So things could be culminating with that. And I think all in all, it's just a really good week to continue to focus on where you can have a bit more peace and a bit more tranquility in your life. And the full moon will be right on the cusp between your 6th and your 7th. So you'll notice this, I think, over the weekend, but particularly next week, is this culmination of anything you started 6 months ago relating to your work, relating to the daily stuff, your self-improvement, and also relationships. Okay, and that's going to be setting the stage. What will be only a couple weeks away, your Sun will be going into your sign, or at least for you Scorpios, then soon Ophiuchus is, really putting an emphasis on your personal needs, your goals. If you're watching for your sun sign, it'll be your birthday and all that good stuff. But yeah, really putting the emphasis on the more active side. Okay, so things are active, sort of, and you're also going to have Mercury going into your 1st. So I think you'll be thinking more in terms of, again, these personal needs later in the week, over the week's end, in terms of how to move things forward, because Saturn's been in your first, really helping you assume some responsibilities lately, take the patient approach to things, and really see that, yes, you are building your goals and your desires, but it takes time, right? And Saturn does pay off where there is hard work, but it doesn't come immediately. It comes in time. So it's a really good time to, with Mercury, I think, over the weekend, maybe think more in these terms, get into the practical side of these goals and personal needs of yours. All right, so that's the shift in terms of all these planets changing sign. That's the sort of backdrop with the whole coming up to a full moon phase. I do want to mention that Neptune is going to be very close to the South Node this week. They're going to go exact next week on the 17th. So maybe there are some past energies being drawn out that are unhealthy, that might have to do with your roots in life. Okay, this conjunction is in your 4th house. It might have to do with matters relating to home, or with family, or your health. If you feel like there's any unhealthy things that could be brought back into balance here. And it might have to do with dreams or idealizations or fantasies about that stuff, or any one of those things. And it could also have to do with maybe not enough energy. If you've been feeling like you need to make some change in this area because there hasn't been enough attention, enough energy on your roots, then maybe making those changes. But I think that's going to be mostly next week, but certainly something to reflect on this week. And this is all pointing towards what is the life path for you this year and next year, to be cultivating your productive life. And I think that's the balancing point, because, in order to cultivate your productive life, your career, your legacy, your public stuff, we do have to have good roots. Right? We do have to have good foundations, good home life, family life, personal life, and that needs to be brought into balance. So that's what's going on here, and I think as you bring some balance to that area, you're going to find it's just serving more of a foundation for you to then cultivate these bigger picture things there. All right, we do have a couple aspects this week, not major, but on Monday, the sun will be sextiling up to Pluto, your modern day ruler, so both of you might be feeling a bit expressive this early part of the week. Certainly possible. But all in all, it's a great week for change. And change particularly where, again, you can have a bit more tranquility, a bit more peace. Again, maybe work a bit behind the scenes there. Then over the weekend with, approaching that full moon, the sun will be trining up to Chiron. And there is some rejuvenation, I feel like, taking place. Some healing. And for you Ophiuchuses, this is your also modern ruler, so you could be feeling quite expressive over the weekend. Really good for creative stuff, fun, playfulness, that kind of a thing, entertainment. But for both of you, I think, again, feeling healed and rejuvenated, maybe with what can be, and I think it's a really good thing, what can be this tranquil time, this relaxing time, meditative time, right now at the moment. Because, again, it really is a time for rest, really is a time for connecting to yourself spiritually, maybe diving deep psychologically and all this, because it's the time of the year for that. And like I said, as a result, you'll have rested, so you can cultivate what will be, I think, a more energetic time coming up here in the coming weeks. All right, so Scorpio and Ophiuchus, the way I would sum all this up is, yes, it's a internal time. It's good to do that. There's a lot of shifts taking place this week. A lot of it has to do with your values, gratitude, all that can really go a long ways. Your ruler, your traditional ruler, going into the 3rd house, emphasizing this intellectual, communicating, very mentally stimulating, or sometimes, depending on your personal chart, socially stimulating energy of trading, of sharing, exchanging, and learning and journaling and writing and all that stuff. Really good source of motivation and drive there. All right, so Scorpio and Ophiuchus, have a fantastic week. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next week.